Hey there everybody, it's Wayne Defrancesco. Welcome to my website. It's WayneD.com, and I was lucky enough to be out on the range at Bay Hill with Kevin, and we had Graham DeLaet, who's a friend of Streel's, hitting balls next to us, and Streel's really likes Graham's swing, so he asked Graham if I could take a couple pictures of it. So of course I took the opportunity, got some good shots of Graham hitting a driver, one of the best ball strikers out on the tour. And interestingly, he does not ever want to look at his swing. He thinks about absolutely nothing, which is of course everyone's dream, although very very few people can actually do that successfully. I teach a lot of people who don't think about much, but most of them aren't very good and really need to be thinking about something. Of course, they don't know what to think about, so I help them with that. And then we struggle along to get the thoughts correct. Now, so we take a look at the setup position, very balanced. You can see the club leaning back a little bit, which is common with the driver when you keep the hands more in the center and the ball is up, right up off the left heel like that. Left hand grip's a little weak, but the right hand grip matches up nicely, and you still see a nice little cup in the back of the wrist. So it's not super weak, but that lean back in the shaft makes the grip look a little bit stronger than it actually is. Now, this is pretty different. You're not going to see too many swings like Graham's. He was a hockey player, and there was not going to be any load to the right whatsoever. You're going to see a tiny movement to the right of the hips. If you watch the right foot, it's going to take some stress and maybe just tip to the middle of the foot from the inside, but if the head goes anywhere, it just goes up a fraction. And we've seen it, most of the players will stay level or go down in the backswing. I'd say a majority will load down into the right. Graham is not going to do that. So if we watch we can see the arms are pretty straight at address. That right elbow looks a little bit tight. So when we start the swing, the right arm doesn't fold quite as quickly as some, but the shaft comes right up the plane perfectly. But with the right arm a little bit straight, you can expect it to get a little above that shaft plane there. And you can see initially the right leg is deepening. So the right top of the right leg starts here, and as the club moves away, you get some space there early. Now, after left arm parallel, and you can see how little the legs have moved to here. This takes a tremendous amount of upper body mobility relative to the lower, so we're creating a lot of torque in here already. And the wrists are here only moderately cocked. You can see the club out not quite 90. So here's the top. What a great full wind-up for as little lower body movement as that is. Now here's where it gets a little bit surprising. To me, I didn't expect to see this, but as he goes toward the top, we're going to see the first move forward is going to be into the front of the left foot. So there's a little bit of lifting going on in the left arm, and the right arm pulls a little behind. You can see the right arm get a little bit higher in transition. Now this is something you can't really spot from the face-on view, but from the down-the-line view we get a good picture of that. So if we look at the progression, we go 39 up to 50 and then up to 57. So that's a total of 18 degrees. That's a ton of up in this swing. So as he starts forward, you can see the hips now are driving out of the box quite a bit, and the right arm is going to stay more up and behind. But before all you one-planers start to congratulate yourselves, watch the shaft flatten and the face stay open. So we're definitely not shutting the face and steepening the shaft, but his right arm is definitely way more back on his side than most guys, and now that's going to really get him to come from much higher than he started. But the interesting thing here is the head is more up, and this is a really rotary type of action into the ball. If we watch it from the front, we'll see just enough lateral movement here to shift the weight. Now he's got a real nice position here with the hands just past the right hip. So if I draw the ball line up, you can see how much space he has here to release into the ball. And if you didn't think the club was moving very fast, when it looks like the grip is all the way to the ball, when he hits it, he's perfectly even with it. So that's how fast that club head is moving. So pretty much perfect driver impact there. And again, you can see the right arm back on the side. You can see the left knee a little bit out in front of the hip, staying bent a little bit, a lot of twist in the feet. But watch the head, it's just not going much anywhere. That's very, very rare, different. Now what's different about this is the incredible flatness of the shoulders through impact. So he's gotten more vertical with his body. You can see the angle of his back here versus where it started. Now he's an excellent ball striker, so this is just one of those real interesting swings to watch. Really different, but it looks so efficient when you watch it without picking at it here. So one of the things that you might surmise from the leg movement here is that in the setup with the legs flexed that much, he's probably got a feeling of having a little bit more weight behind the center of his feet here. And you've seen it when I do this before, although here it doesn't look like he's got a huge amount of space here, but it does look like to me that the balance point in the setup is a little bit toward the heels. And when he moves forward and twists that left leg back behind him, the right arm is going to stay back. But man, as much as he rotates through the ball, you will not see many driver swings going that left and exiting like that. So I know Graham is not going to watch this. So it really doesn't matter to him what anybody thinks about his swing. He just hits the ball, which is pretty cool when you think about it. Here's some on the golf course swings. That looks great to me. Let's find a couple more here. Now with the driver, you can tell how what we just saw with the legs is happening here on the golf course too. Although it does from this angle look like his right arm's a little more in front of him. But you can see there. Here's a good down the line shot. So, thought you'd be interested in that. Interesting swing by one of the better ball strikers on tour. That's Graham DeLaet.